Copy 724, right. Center maintains 2000.
Center maintain 2074.
Comment 504 to center maintain 3000.
3000, comment 504.
Now we're going to be covering aircraft maintenance requirements. This section is going to be covered in 2 videos. This is going to be the first part of that, in which we're going to be covering all the content related to the maintenance requirements. So the first one I wanted to cover is, they may ask you basically what are the required tests and the inspection, like which are inspection performed on an aircraft. So the acronym which we need to remember is AAV1, A T E. In other words, it can be read as AAV8 if you consider one as I. So the first A is for annual inspection, right? And we will be talking about it in a second. This is basically an annual inspection, and it is done like once a year. The second one is airworthiness directive. So, and like as we talked about it, and anything airworthiness directives and the live the life limited parts, compliance, that kind of stuff. We need to have that one too. And then there is another check which is called the VOR equipment check. So VOR equipment check is done every 30 days. So every 30 days we need to check the VOR. Then we have 100-hour inspection. This is a required 100-hour inspection. This is required for the planes which are for hire, and where you can get the flight instruction in this kind of plane. There you definitely need a 100-hour inspection. So for every 100 hour of flight, it needs to be inspected. Then the altimeter altitude reporting equipment. So basically this actually inspection does that the altimeter and the altitude equipment is working. It also checks the static pressure systems, and this is done every 2 years, 24 months, right? We did say that this is gonna be done every year, 12 months. This is like as required, like if there is an airworthiness directive, as required. Uh, 100 hours is 100 hours. And then we also need the transponder test. This is again done every 24 months. Okay, the last one is the emergency locator transmitter, the ELT, emergency locator transmitter. Operation and the battery conditions, they are inspected every 12 months. So these are the inspections we need. Nice. We're going to be covering most of it in details now. So the second thing is, what is an annual inspection? Okay, an annual inspection, and like which aircraft really need it, right? So an annual inspection is basically, it's a complete inspection of an aircraft and in the engine, and it is done every 12 months. and and it is done on the certified aircraft. And also, who can do it is another question, uh, which is, you need to remember, this is like the ANP, the airframe and powertrain technicians. Those are, and they need to have, these are the techs which can do it, and they need to have the inspection authorization called IA. So they definitely need to have inspection authorization done every 12 months. That's what the annual inspection is. Now, what aircraft are required to have this 100 hour of inspection? Sorry, this is like we talked about the annual inspection, right? Now we're talking about the 100-hour inspection. So, what are the airplanes which need to have 100 hour of inspections? So, the answer is that an airplane which is under 12,500 pounds of weight, right? And this is the first one, and they are used for flight instructions or for hire flight instructions slash hire, or maybe rent, right? So that's another thing. Okay, so he may ask you like, if an aircraft is required, like it is for the flight instructions or for hiring or for renting, does he need both the 100-hour plus the annual inspection? So the answer is yes. Yes, he is gonna be doing the 100-hour inspection, and as well as like the annual inspection whenever it is due. Okay. Okay, so what is the difference? Basically, difference between, he may ask you the difference between the annual inspection and like the 100-hour inspection. So the basic difference, like it's gonna be the same kind of inspection, everything is done in it, is the both can be done by the ANP, again the airframe and I think a powertrain mechanic, ANP but mechanic, but the annual inspection, the ANP mechanic needs to have the inspection authorization. Whereas not needed. Whereas the 100-hour inspection, in the 100-hour inspection, the ANP mechanic does not need that inspection authorization. That's the only difference. Okay, now these are typically asked like, what happens like if an aircraft is due on 100-hour inspection, right? 100-hour inspection is due. Okay, uh, so under what conditions it can continue to operate, right? So the answer is that he can still operate. He can still, like that airplane can still fly 10 hours, right? He cannot or should not exceed more than 10 hours, only in the case when they are en route to a place where the inspection can be done, right? So for the 100-hour inspection, which is done after every 100 hours, the rule is that if it is due, it can still be flown less than 10 hours, only if it is en route for inspection, right? The what when this annual inspection is due, or can they fly? They can only fly if they get the special flight permit. So they can only fly a plane if they have the special flight permit from FAA, and then and that is gonna be that they are again they wanted to take the airplane to a place where the inspection can be done. And again, they're gonna ask you when giving the special flight permit, they're gonna be asking you that if it has the all the airworthiness directives, they are in compliance. Then talking about the special flight permits, who can have it, which planes can fly under the special flight permits, who can get it, that kind of stuff. So number one is, can I just do it? Let's just do it here. Okay, number one is if you're taking it the plane uh, for any kind of repair or alterations or maintenance, right? So that is, or even to storage too sometimes, like to maybe you want to put it on the storage so you can get the special flight permit. The second one is delivering and exporting aircraft. So if you are delivering an aircraft or an exporting an aircraft, so like maybe shipment, so you may fly that aircraft to take to deliver it to someone. Then we have the production flight testing new production aircraft which were just newly uh, new products, right, which are just create have been manufactured. Again, evacuating aircraft from the evacuation, not to the for the people. Maybe if you just want to evacuate the aircraft itself from the areas of impending danger. And lastly, again, maybe there's a customer who wants to demonstrate. You want to demonstrate the flight to him and of a newly demonstration. Maybe it is a newly created aircraft, so you wanna just wanna show it to the customer. Okay, how are these special flight permits obtained, right? So it can be obtained from the local FSTO or like it's called the organization is called the person is called DAR. It stands for designated airworthiness representative. uh, Basically, short answer is it can be obtained from FAA. Okay, uh, so another thing I wanted to cover is like what happens if an aircraft inspection is done on it, and the the defects have been removed. It is airworthy to fly. But then who is responsible for determining if an aircraft is in the airworthy condition? So after inspection, responsibility responsibility falls on the pilot. So the pilot in command of the civil aircraft, he's gonna be responsible for that. And the last thing is like if a regulation like the so if an inspection is we did the inspection on an aircraft, right? If it what happens is like if it has substantially affected the operation of the flight, right? uh, I will call it big alterations. So what happens if like the alteration did or maintenance was done on the aircraft, and it changed substantially changed the flight patterns and everything in the aircraft. So the answer is no person should fly it unless there are three things like a private pilot, at least a private pilot flies the aircraft, right? Basically it's saying that student pilots uh, shouldn't fly the aircraft. Flies aircraft private pilot license personnel flies the aircraft, make the operational checks and the maintenance performed on it. So look at the records and logs flight time. So if a substantially affected maintenance is done, a private pilot needs to fly the aircraft, records all the maintenance done on it, basically inspect the records which are explaining what is done on the aircraft, and should log the flight time. Then it is good to fly. Basically good to fly in the sense that even the like basically you can then start carrying the passengers, and also the student pilot can do the solos on it, that kind of stuff. Thanks for watching.